Hey everyone, me Kevin here. Holy smokes, Donald Trump just gave us some information about stimulus checks, and it's really good news for us. Tesla did not get included into the S&P, which is not really good news, and we've got some other updates. But first, let's get right into what Donald Trump said. Of course, make sure you've got your life insurance so that you're ready for this. You can get it in as little as 5 minutes. You could use your phone, no brokers. You don't have to make a call. It's easy to do. And remember, you can get one completely free stock if you deposit $100 with Webull. You get one free stock worth up to $1,600. Links below. Okay, so here's what happened. First, Donald Trump began his conference by complaining that Democrats are holding up stimulus for, quote, reasons no one understands. Trump, during his press conference, said, quote, they're insisting on bailouts for badly run Democratic states, stimulus checks for illegals, and they want to release prisoners. Now, it's helpful really quickly to just revisit some of the things they said, and then let's get into the big bomb that Donald Trump dropped. So just quickly revisiting, we know that Democrats want rental assistance for individuals. That's because they want $100 billion in housing aid because tenants are already $21.4 billion behind. That's understandable, right? This has not been solved yet. So that's understandable. I'm going to give that to Dems here. Dems want EIDL funding. Remember those $1,000 checks we got? That might open that back up again. We might not see that because this is part of the HEROES Act, and this is pretty much, well, dead. It would also fix some problems that exist with mortgage forbearance, making sure people get the right to a full 12 months. A lot of this stuff we forgot about, right? This is what they're campaigning for. Democrats just aren't conveying some of this stuff very well. I think they're kind of screwing up. You know, obviously, they also want the $600 for unemployment, $1,200 and $1,200 for stimulus checks, and $1,200 for dependents. Yes, that does include, just a quick fact check here, Donald Trump is right. Undocumented workers would get stimulus checks, however, only if they have ITIN numbers, which having an ITIN number is basically saying that if you work, you can pay taxes using an ITIN number. So that way, at least you're paying taxes. SNAP program funding, we know about that. SALT tax deduction, and yeah, he's right, but remember this HEROES Act was put together in May. There would be some inmate release, and that would be pretty restricted to what they deem to be non-violent offenders, but that is true. There was some inmate release included in the HEROES Act, but remember, that bill was passed in May, so I don't know if that's still as necessary now or if that would be included. So, okay, minor little check there, not wrong, just providing more context. Now, this is what we've been waiting for, okay? Donald Trump on the stimulus checks. This is what he said, and we're going to break this down because there were questions about this as well, understandably so, from reporters. Donald Trump said, quote, we have $300 billion sitting in an account that we don't need, and I would be willing to release that to the American people. All we need is a sign-off, but that doesn't mean we're going to release prisoners. It also means we won't give stimulus to illegals. Just let that money get released. Apparently, I can't do that, though. I need them to sign off on it. And by them, he's talking about Congress. So hold the phone here for a moment. The next round of stimulus checks is estimated to cost somewhere between $220 to $250 billion. Donald Trump says we got $300 billion sitting in some bank account somewhere, ready to go to the American people. The Treasury Secretary can send them out within 1 week. They're ready to go. All he needs is Congress to sign off. Well, dude, come on, man. You told us nothing. Told us nothing. What's there to get excited about? This part. He said, well, when he was asked in questions, his quote, he said, there's a theory that I can do it without their approval, but I'd rather get their approval. There being Congress, right? It's money we have and built up and not used. There's a theory we can do it, but we'll see whether or not they do it. Listen to that last part. We'll see whether or not they do it. AKA, we'll see whether or not Congress gets their act together and passes something here in September. In other words, in my opinion, Donald Trump here is threatening that if Congress does not act, he's just gonna do it and ask for forgiveness later. That is, he'll just send the checks with his name on it without Congress's support. Call that a really big, hey, well, here's the theory we're using. If it's wrong, let me know in court. But in the meantime, I'm sending $300 billion to the people. You want to sue me over that? Okay, go for it. You know that's what Donald Trump would do. And think about it this way, okay? Because Donald Trump has this pattern. Watch this pattern. Democrats wanted eviction protections. What did Donald Trump do? Crafted an executive order and had the CDC ban evictions through the end of the year. He did do that. You gotta give him credit, not taking sides. But that did happen. Now, there are problems with it. There are shortfalls with it, right? Like, who's going to pay the bill? We just kicked the can down the road 6 months. Who's paying for landlords' property taxes in the meantime, right? Democrats wanted food aid. What did Trump do? He made it happen with the USDA. And again, not trying to take sides, but look, if you've got kids 18 or younger, it doesn't matter if you're a Democrat or you're a Republican or you just don't care about politics. You can go get free food for kids 18 and younger. All the stuff is in the description down below. It's all the way at the bottom of the description. You'll see a phone number, a map, a text message thing. It's all done through the USDA. You don't even have to use those links down there. I don't get anything from that. I'm just saying. It's there for you. Then Democrats wanted unemployment. Well, he took money from the FEMA pool. It's like, oh, there's some money. Let's take that and give it to people on unemployment. In fairness, some of those checks are actually starting to flow, and most states are in the process of getting that money flowing. So I'm not saying Donald Trump's actions here are perfect, and I have no clue whether or not they're legal. But this is an interesting pattern we're seeing with Trump, and he basically just threatened, y'all Congress, if you don't do it, I got this theory, I'm just going to write the checks myself. All right. During the second question, he was asked about these checks again, this $300 billion again. And he said, it'll be great stimulus. It's actually more stimulus than we're asking for, and it'll be pure stimulus for the people. This would be pure stimulus, very pure. By that, he means it's not like bogged down by like other special interests in a bill. Okay. Very interesting. Moving on, Donald Trump said Q3, we will have better numbers than we've ever had before on GDP, gross domestic product, growth in the country. He says these numbers will be announced a few days before the election. He's very excited about this. And now remember, this also comes on top of news that Nancy Pelosi and Steve Mnuchin have agreed to a cleanup bill to extend the government's budget to prevent a government shutdown through December. This is also good news. Of course, as long as cleaning up doesn't include shampoo and hair dryers, because that would, well, not be good for Nancy Pelosi. Now, obviously, everyone's just making fun of everyone these days. Just look at Twitter. Trump said, great numbers. Unemployment falls to 8.4%. Much better than expected. And of course, Donald Trump got his own dose from all of the other side. Well, come on, dude. 8.4% is nothing to brag about. You had a bunch of Democrats saying this, the back and forth catapulting, all the usual. The one thing that just bothers me about Congress making fun of each other, the Democrats making fun of Republicans, Republicans making fun of Democrats, is the fact that the average wage in America, based on the labor report this morning, is $29 per hour. Considering that congressmen and women take half of the year off for recess and make somewhere around $150,000 to $200,000 a year, that means these Democrats and Republicans are making somewhere around $150 to $200 an hour, and they're not getting us any help. We should be tweeting about that, because that's a problem. On Tesla, yes, Tesla did not get included into the S&P 500, which was widely expected because Tesla had 4 straight quarters of profit. Instead of picking Tesla, the S&P 500 chose Teradyne, Catalent, some pharmaceutical and some testing manufacturer, and Etsy. Shares of Tesla are down 7% in after hours. Etsy is up 5%. I own Etsy, and I recommended Etsy twice today. My only problem is that I own 10 times as much Tesla as I own Etsy. Great. On COVID, going into Memorial Day weekend, we averaged 22,000 cases per day. At the moment, we're averaging 40,000 cases per day. It's almost double. That may be because there's more testing, but basically this could also be a very critical weekend. Georgia's governor said today, our state's health and well-being rest on what Georgians decide to do over this Labor Day weekend. So I guess that means getting a haircut at a salon is out, but that's okay. I've always wanted to be Rollo from the Vikings. Oh gosh, I'm gonna cause damage. Anyway, the governor of Colorado also warned that the virus is still out there. That was his quote. The virus is still out there, which sounds like a catchphrase from every horror movie ever. The coronavirus. Be afraid. Be very afraid. In quarantine, no one can hear you scream. Or how about one for a movie about untested vaccines? They're back. Yeah, here's the Sputnik 5 for you. South Dakota is also now apparently a, quote, coronavirus hotbed. Yes, the USA Today said hotbed. The next thing we know is they're going to change the slogan at South Dakota's fair to "From Hogs to Hotbeds, Feverish Fun for the Whole Family." Well, there you have it. I also posted a stock video breaking down what's going on and some new strategies today, so check that out. If you didn't watch this morning's video, check that out so you could at least see the details on that labor report. Folks, very good information in these videos. Hopefully you appreciate them. If you do, consider subscribing. I'm gonna go watch the Vikings, and folks, we'll see you next time.